And welcome back to AM Live. This morning we're decoding the conflict, the cause for the conflict, Kenya's role in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, what's happening with Rwanda. We hear a lot of analogies, M23, M23, there's ICRAF, you know, what do they all mean? And we're interrogating MONUSCO. We're interrogating all that for the laymen such as myself. I think I'm the only layman in this studio where that subject is concerned. But Leila, we had some pending business before we took the break.
Before we talk about the Great Lakes region in which now DRC gets to join the East African community and their problems become our problems, let's go back to the IGAD conversation a bit. Dr. Macharia, very good morning to you. Do you think Kenya has a great position in the IGAD scenario at the moment, considering the troubles in Ethiopia at the moment? Somalia is just now getting to stabilize itself. However, the threat of Al-Shabaab is still big for them. Djibouti is there, but it's subtle. South Sudan has its own troubles within there. Uganda is another different topic. Do you think Kenya has a chance now to really shine as it did during the Moi era in terms of regional presence?
Thank you, Leila. I think Kenya has a position in the region. Fact, because of the democratic transition that we have had, even though we've had internal issues, we've been able to contain them and sustain a very stable country. Second, if you look at the other countries in the region, Ethiopia has always taken like a leading position, but considering the internal problems currently, it gives Kenya an upper hand. Then you look at Somalia, it's doing the best to contain the Al-Shabaab situation, and Kenya would be giving a very significant support in terms of leadership. Comparing us to Somalia in terms of internal problem, we'll be at a better position, and that allow us to, as we take leadership, then it will allow us to support countries such as now Somalia in terms of building internal capacity and sustaining peace in the country. So I do think we really have a chance and a good opportunity to provide leadership in the region and sustain peace in the greater region.
All right, Dr. Khannenje, more broadly speaking, the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was known as a Pan-Africanist, at least from where I'm sitting. He's very visible as far as the AU is concerned. Even now, he's taking a leading role in terms of, by virtue of the blessing of the sitting president, William Ruto, in terms of securing peace between the Tigray region and the Ethiopian government. Even prior to that, when he was East African Community Chair, the DRC was integrated into the East African community. Do you think, what do you make of that now where President William Ruto comes in? Does he command the same respect as his predecessor? Does he have big shoes to fill? Or has President William Ruto shown himself willing to, take a step back on some of these issues and allow President Uhuru Kenyatta to continue running the race, as it were?
The former president, Uhuru, his party might not have been very successful in the past election, but I think there is no doubt that he was probably the most popular president of the continent by the time he was retiring. And a lot of it is attributed to the kind of diplomacy and just kind of the Pan-African stance that he adopted throughout his administration. And that is in part why I think the rest of the world was trying to walk through him insofar as the conflicts in the region are concerned. But any person who comes to power, of course, has always a chance to learn. And the appointment of President Uhuru by President Ruto to continue some of those efforts in recognition of the kind of diplomatic capital that he had already built. They say if it's not broken, don't fix it. And so it was working. And that recognition, because I think also the president recognizes that it is not about an individual's effort, it's a country, because it's Kenya which was engaged in that process. It's still Kenya which is engaged, for instance, in the DRC. It's Kenya which now, of course, it's at the the East African community, as a leader. And so that recognition has allowed him to continue using some of, not just the same, diplomats, but some of the same similar mechanisms, whether it's continental or international. And I think he's working hard to build on that success to ensure that Kenya gets to a place, because at the end of the day, it's not going to be about the president, it's going to be about what Kenya has done. And so I think the president is acutely aware of that role, and that is why he's using everybody, including some people perhaps who might have been perceived to be his rivals, because I think he's keen to continue Kenya's agenda in the region in terms of providing leadership, not just as that shining star on the hill, but as a country that has also registered or have become a bellwether state when it comes to democracy, is the largest and most advanced economy in the region, and is a country that the world looks up to. And Kenya recognizes its unique role, some kind of exceptionalism, despite some of the challenges that the country faces. So I think the president is acutely aware of that special place in Kenya and the role, not just that the region expects, but the world expects Kenya to actually take that leadership role.